Now, another way which I had mentioned earlier by which you can represent your content can be that, let's say you have no color pencils because you forgot to bring them. You can choose to do this. So let's say you have a bar graph or a pie chart. You can choose to show sloping lines or dotted lines or dashes, whatever you would like to call, and some other method. So maybe you want to do a crosshatch. So let's say you choose to say that, okay, this one will be denoted like this. And then you do the same thing also. Let's say if you have to create a pie chart and you do something similar over here, and then in your legends also you share this information saying that, okay, this is whatever dashes are meant for whatever other quantity you had, and similarly the crosshatch is meant for something further. So this information can be shared. However, the thing to remember is that you can't just have any random so-called texturing to be created. So what you will have to keep in mind is that the uniformity needs to be maintained. So if you remember how cross sections were made, so there also we do this, but these lines have to be constant. So the gap has to be constant and the so-called parallel lines or the slopes have to be maintained. So same thing here. You cannot have two set of dashes that actually look like dashes and then suddenly you realize that, oh my god, I have no time left, and you start to randomize these. So that should not happen, which is why this becomes a bit of a challenge. So my suggestion to you would be that rather than you doing this, you do something like this where you do a solid color. Now, if you choose to say that, okay, I can do a solid color, obviously, if you do it with a pencil, you can get one fully darkened piece, which is not a problem. You can even try to get one lighter piece, which won't be a problem. But if the information to be shared is not just 2, but say 4 of such bars, then for the remaining 2, you wouldn't know what kind of shading to do for those. But in case, let's say you have colors and you have 2 colors and you don't have 2 colors, then you could try something like this. But a better option would be to do something like this where you use colors, because obviously when a person looks at colors, it gives a much better feeling. So it's a good idea if you do something like this rather than running around looking for pencils at the last minute. Just buy a good set of color pencils for yourself.